Well, hello everybody. Welcome back, listeners, to another brand new episode of Macabre and Company. It is a very special episode as it is my birthday episode.
Happy birthday, Georges.
Thank you. Yeah, this will be releasing on Thursday, which means it's the day before my birthday. So don't try and contact me on Friday because my plans are to go out with friends and get a little bit Larry on Friday.
Yeah, Larry.
Yeah, I actually booked to treat myself. This is a good segue into today's story for everyone. For my birthday, I've treated myself to a trip to a brand new chiropractor. And the chiropractor is a pretty famous chiropractor actually that has a clinic in Beverly Hills. Not sponsored. I'm not going to say their name just in case. I don't know if I'm allowed to or not. Um,
Wow.
yeah, pretty good one, and my insurance covers it, so I only have to pay a portion, so I get a really good discount because I need to get my body put back in line. I need to get my bones cracked, my spine cracked, my shoulders put back into where they should be.
I just came from physio, and my physio is like chiro and physio and stuck a whole lot of needles in me and cracked everything, and I feel amazing.
Yeah, I'm so excited, like really, really excited for the visit. And to get my feel really fresh after my birthday. But speaking of bodies, now
Oh
I
my God.
for fans of the show that have listened since the beginning of time, Erica once presented with us with an episode about body farms. Do you remember that, Erica?
Yes.
Of
Oh
course.
my gosh. I never stop thinking about body farms.
Most people want to retire to a farm with dogs. Erica wants to retire to a body farm,
Yes.
which is so cool. And the whole thing. So I was in a little bit of a hole the other day reading about body farms a little bit more because I was trying to read a little bit more about the legalities of when you donate your body to science. What is the state mandates in California and Texas, the places that have these body farms um that let what can they do with the bodies, right?
Hmm.
And there's not actually much regulation. Once you've donated it, anything can be done with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't get to choose. They just are like, you know what? We need a body here. And bam, you go. You can't be like, I only want to be at the bottom of a waterfall with posed with the peace sign.
Yeah.
Nay.
Now, this led me though down a little bit of a side road of people whose jobs it is to distribute these bodies, or another side business that's actually not illegal but frowned upon. And this is called I know body broker. Have you heard of body brokers?
This is like, yes, yeah, a little bit. I think because back in the day, that's how the medical professionals used to get bodies to test on people, just like stole bodies.
Yeah. So body brokers are people, and there are some legal body brokers. I don't know if they would like to use that term. But the people that distribute these bodies, and that distribute the bodies that are given away for science. But also there are illegal body brokers that do it for money. So they will acquire bodies, body parts, and obviously sell them on the black market or even just sell them to research facilities still. But these are people that
Yeah.
make money off it. Uh,
Mm.
and when you really look into this and the art of body brokering, if you like, it happens in so many different ways, in so many different places, in so many different cultures. Like sometimes it's sketchy, sometimes it's not as sketchy. I mean, it's always kind of sketchy because you're dealing with the business of selling dead bodies and body parts, and that's the stress that must come with that job too, because you are on a time limit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof.
Like I work in the restaurant industry, and the stress that the kitchens have getting food out in a timely manner and keeping that food perfect is stressful. Can you imagine the same stress but with dealing with dead bodies, decomposing?
You've got to get that body in when it's still perfect and nobody can know where it came from.
I know. Well, I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So, anyway, I'm like, okay, what's some weird, like, let's look into some weird stories about, body brokering and stuff. And the internet immediately was like, hold on a second, let's talk about something that's happened pretty recently.
Okay.
Yeah. So in 2003, one of the most disturbing criminal cases involving the theft and trafficking of human remains unfolded in the heart of one of the nation's most prestigious institutions.
The
Har-
Playboy Mansion?
No, the Playboy Mansion. Yeah. No, Harvard. And the man at the center of this horrifying scheme was named Cedric Lodge, a longtime morgue manager who turned his position of trust into a lucrative criminal operation. Oh my God, I just got chills. Like this has
Oh
happened.
my gosh.
I when I start talking about it, you might be like, I recall hearing about it on the news. If it made it to Australia, I'm sure it
Oh
made
my
it
god.
to Canada at least. So this is the story of how a routine investigation led to shocking revelations and evidence, and how one man's greed and disregard for the deceased caused a national scandal.
National scandal. Tell me everything.
This is the case of Cedric Lodge and the trafficking of human body parts.
Cedric, naughty.
Cedric, see, that's the thing as well. The name Cedric, you're like, oh, I imagine like a cute little old man with like glasses and a walking stick going to buy his groceries. Oh,
I
Mr.
think of Cedric Diggory from Harry Potter.
Oh, from the Harry Potter franchise. That's true.
Yeah.
He was hot, hot. He was the hot one that died in the maze.
Yeah.
So Cedric Diggory was nope. That's the guy from Harry Potter. Throw it off. So Cedric Lodge. I'm just gonna come back. This
Yeah.
is the story of Cedric Lodge. Segment one. All right, I've cut this into segments.
Okay.
The lead up to the investigation. So the story begins in 2022 when rumors start to circulate around the medical world umbrella of people. Rumors start to circulate about the theft of human remains from Harvard Medical School's morgue. Just
Mm.
people talking about it. It's, a bit of a, people say at parties, at conferences, hey, did you hear that things keep going missing at Harvard, right? So there's chatter about it. And at first, the rumors were dismissed as mere whispers, stories from students, stories from staff at the school just making stuff up in the workplace. But what initially seemed like isolated incidences of stolen body parts, missing body parts, soon began to take on a much bigger significance and a much darker significance. So Cedric Lodge was a morgue manager who had worked at Harvard for decades, and he was accused of removing body parts from cadavers stored at the morgue, an act that would later set the stage for a larger investigation. It wasn't long before authorities began hearing these stories, and there was reports, and people had reported this to the authorities that they thought there was something going on there after these rumors started circulating. They started hearing about it, and it wasn't long before they started receiving like anonymous tips suggesting that Lurch might be the one involved in these missing body parts, and he might also be involved in something a little bit more than just stealing them, right?
Ooh.
So let's move on to the investigation and how that all played out. So, as investigators began their work, like checking on these rumors, asking questions, kind of looking into Cedric, what they uncovered was far more alarming than they had anticipated. The probe revealed that Cedric Lodge had been systematically removing body parts such as heads, arms, torsos, organs from cadavers. The word cadaver is gross.
Where, like, oh my gosh. Just take cutting them off.
Just all about his daily business, has his morning coffee, goes in, oh, hey, Mary, yeah, I'll take this one in the corner, don't worry, I'm just going to do some research. Doesn't, chops it up, bags it up
Wow.
for lunch, pops it in the back of his car. Yeah.
What you doing there, friend? Oh, just a body full of a car full of cadavers.
It's just me
No,
having a barbecue this week.
no, Cedric.
Maybe he had some real good sourdough and he wanted to
Mm,
make some real good sandwiches. Anyway,
that's the only thing that could redeem him so far. If he had the sourdough.
so these weren't just isolated thefts for personal use. Loach was allegedly selling these remains to individuals and groups across the entire country. Yeah. And these are from tips that he's getting. So I tried looking into where these tips, and I think because it's such a recent case, I do actually have the statement from the Justice Department that I'm going to read shortly.
Wow. What year was this again?
2023 is when
Oh
the
my
case.
gosh, it's
Yeah.
so
So
recent.
it began in 2022 was when like the investigation started. So the network of buyers, it turned out, included people interested in body parts for a variety of things. Some were used for like medical purposes. Some were actually medical professionals or researchers that were looking to buy these from him because they needed them and connections that he had. Which those people, not necessarily thinking there's anything weird about it. He's just one of these people that is getting them out there. You know, you think, oh, he can help us get this. Some were for science and research, and then some of them. This is where it gets a bit weird too. Were for private collect
Okay.
with darker intentions. Just private collectors. First,
Like voodoo? Like what are your darker intent? Oh my gosh.
so I tried to look. I was like, why would people be private collectors of body parts? Like, what are the reasons, or what do we consider people using this for? And there's just so many different things. You can't really pinpoint. Like, some people just have a love for the macabre
Mm.
and the gross. And the thing is, once
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. We love the macabre and gross. Nobody send us body parts, please. If I go to a PO box, if I go to the Macabre and Company PO box and I get a hand, I'm going to be very upset.
or just
So do
a
not send
nail,
us any body parts.
a finger.
No.
Yeah, but so the problem here is as well, right? Or it's not necessarily a problem, but fun fact or grim fact is that's not actually illegal because these body parts have been donated, right? The bodies have been donated. So technically, those people aren't doing anything wrong.
Right.
Same it's for science, I guess.
Huh. Interesting.
The bodies have been donated, so these people aren't really doing anything wrong. But yeah, private collectors of like body parts, weird. Did you ever watch the movie The Bone Collector?
I I think I did a long time ago. I don't really remember anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's about someone who collects body parts, essentially.
Yeah.
Bones of people. All right, so
Did
oh,
you?
yeah, even Jeepers Creepers, like you remember the first Jeepers Creepers? Like he had all those like
Yeah.
bodies cut up and like
I refuse to watch Jeepers Creepers now because the guy that made it is a bad man.
I honestly
Little
have
kids.
a million years. Little kids, gross.
Yeah.
Out,
Hmm.
out of
Yeah.
here. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
So don't anybody watch Jeepers Creepers.
Don't. In fact, we're redacting that statement from the podcast. So, what started as a simple investigation into stolen property quickly grew into something far larger, an illegal trade in human remains. The stolen body parts were sold through an underground black market, and Lodge was at the heart of it all. The bodies, once donated to science, were being repurposed for profit. I mean, yeah, what a gross guy.
Yeah.
I think as well because when you're employed for an institution like Harvard, it's like with that comes a certain responsibility, right? You should be honest. Like you
Yeah.
just, it's like ethic.
Yeah. There's some integrity goes along with that. And I think as like when you're donating your body, especially for someone like I've obviously thought a lot about it and I absolutely want to do that with my body, but I want it, you donate your body with thought behind it and integrity and you expect it to be going towards learning and science and growth and development and not just some guy's greed.
Yeah.
So that my hand can be a statue somewhere. Actually, that's kind of fun. Okay, you can have my hand for a
You know,
statue
like
somewhere.
actually, Erica, you would probably love it if someone was keeping your head in a jar on a shelf.
I mean, yes, I definitely want my head to be in a jar somewhere, but if someone's going to profit from it, it should be my next of kin, not
That's true.
Cedric.
Yeah. Give
If
Roe and
somebody,
Riders the money.
yeah, if somebody wants to buy my head for a jar, absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't sell it secretly.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so now let's go to our next section. The evidence comes to light. So in 2023, the FBI took over the investigation. So next section, evidence comes to light. In 2023, the FBI took over the investigation, and their findings were staggering. When agents raided Lodge's home, they discovered evidence of the illegal transactions. Human remains organized and preserved for sale, receipts, emails, computer information and data, but the scale of the operation was even more extensive than they initially believed.
Oh
Lodge's
no.
activities weren't just a case of opportunistic employee taking body parts for personal use. The investigation revealed that he had been stealing and trafficking human remains for years, with a network of buyers that spanned across several states. The investigation led to the identification of multiple people who had purchased body parts from Lodge, including someone who had collected remains for personal use and sale.
No.
Yeah. In addition to the body parts found at Lodge's home, investigators also discovered records of transactions, evidence that suggested this was an organized and ongoing operation. The financial profits from these sales were substantial. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars per transaction.
No. Wow.
Yeah, insane. Some of the
What does
body
a hand go for, you reckon?
fetch, I don't know. It says here that some body parts fetch from thousands of dollars up to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
What do you think is the cheapest body part? Like one toe?
I don't know. People can like if people lose a toe, like and they can get it, you can sew them back on, right? You can donate those sorts of things.
Yeah. There's a bar in the Yukon in Canada that has a toe in a bottle of whiskey, and it's like a thing that if you go to this bar in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of icy cold land, and you drink a shot of whiskey from the toe whiskey, but it's people keep donating, like people try to steal the toe because you drink, like, you have a shot, there's a toe in the shot glass, so there's the toe and the whiskey, and you do the shot, and when the toe gets stolen, people donate. If they lose a toe to frostbite, they're like, here, have my toe for the whiskey.
That is gross. Have you ever drank the toe whiskey?
No, no, I've never been to the Yukon.
We need an episode about the toe whiskey. That's disgusting.
Okay, I'll do it.
But let's get some info on the toe.
I'm
Some
gonna add that to my list. Add it to my list.
So let's talk about the arrest and the charges. In May of
Yes, please.
2023, Cedric Lodge was arrested. He faced multiple charges, including conspiracy, theft of government property, and the illegal sale of human remains. Alongside Lodge, several accomplices were arrested or implicated in the operation, some of whom had purchased body parts from him or had helped him in the trafficking network. The FBI described his case as profound breach of trust, with Lodge exploiting his position in the morgue to steal remains and profit from their sale. The case also raised ethical questions about the handling of donated body and potential for abuse, donated bodies and the potential for abuse in the medical institutions across the country. So it started an even bigger conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to read a little bit of what is on the Justice Department's website, like right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. This is what the Justice Department released in on June 14th, 2023. Scranton. The United States Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Pennsylvania announced that Cedric Lodge, age 55, of Goffstown, New Hampshire, Katrina McLean, age 44, of Salem, Massachusetts,
Mm.
Joshua Taylor, age 46, of West Lawn, Pennsylvania, and Denise Lodge, age
Mm.
63, of Goffstown, New Hampshire. That was his wife. And
Yeah.
Matthew Lampe, age 52, of East Bethel, Minnesota, were indicted by federal grand jury on conspiracy and interstate transport of stolen goods charges. Additionally, Jeremy Pauley, age 41, of Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, was charged by criminal information, and Candice Chapman Scott of Little Rock, Arkansas, was previously indicted in the Eastern District of Arkansas. According to the United States Attorney, The indictments and information alleged that a nationwide network of individuals bought and sold human remains from Harvard Medical School and Arkansas mortuary. So the Arkansas mortuary
Mm.
was involved too.
Mm-hmm.
The charges alleged that from 2018 to 2022, Cedric Lodge, who managed the morgue for the anatomical gifts program at Harvard Medical School, located in Boston, Massachusetts, stole organs and other body parts of cadavers donated for medical research and education before their scheduled cremations. Lodge at the time transported stolen remains from Boston to his residence in Goffstown, New Hampshire, where he and his wife, Denise Lodge, sold the remains to Katrina McLean, Joshua Taylor, and others, making arrangements via cellular telephone and social media websites.
Whoa.
At times, Cedric Lodge allowed McLean and Taylor to enter the morgue at Harvard Medical School, and examine cadavers to choose what to purchase. They were letting them in there, girl.
Yeah, just like, okay, well, I've got this one who's this tall of this nationality. No, do you have anyone that's 5'6" instead?
Yeah. Do you have a Canadian one?
Yeah, I'd love a Canadian one. What nationality was this one?
On some occasions, Taylor transported stolen remains back to Pennsylvania. On other occasions, the Lodges simply shipped stolen remains to Taylor and others out of state. Can you imagine being working for the Postal Service and being like, I basically help transport bodies without my
Yeah.
knowledge?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Absolutely not.
McLean and Taylor resold the stolen remains for profit, including to Jeremy Pauley in the Middle District of Pennsylvania. Pauley also purchased and stolen human remains from Candice Chapman Scott, who stole remains from her employer in Little Rock, Arkansas mortuary and crematorium. Scott stole parts of cadavers she was supposed to have cremated, many of which had been donated and used for research and educational purposes by an area medical school, as well as the corpses of two stillborn babies who were supposed to be cremated and returned as cremains to their families. Yeah. Scott sold the stolen remains to Pauley and shipped them to Pauley in the Middle District of Pennsylvania. Pauley sold many of the stolen remains he'd purchased to other individuals, including Matthew Lampe. Lampe and Pauley bought and sold from each other over an extended period of time and exchanged over $100,000 in payments.
Whoa. Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Like, they're passing it around. Like, do you think they called each other and they, hey, I got a really good hand yesterday. I
Yeah, I
got a
think they
really
did.
good toe. It'll be really good in some whiskey.
They were like, check out this calf. I'm gonna send you a photo.
Yeah. Or he's like, hey, I went to a bar, drank some whiskey. Do you have a toe I can put in my whiskey? Some crimes defy understanding, said the United States Attorney Gerard M. Karam. The theft and trafficking of human remains strikes at the very essence of what makes us human. It is particularly
Egregious.
egregious, egregious, so that many of the victims here volunteer to allow their remains to be used to educate medical professionals and advance the interests of science and healing. For them and their families to be taken advantage of in the name of profit is appalling. With these charges, we are seeking to secure some measure of justice for these victims. I mean, fair enough, right?
Yeah.
Moving along, it goes on to say that they were charged and such in that and what they were charged with. But let's talk a little bit about the trial and it's the implications of the
Mm.
trial. So, as the
Ooh.
trial of Cedric Lodge began later in 2023, the case garnered widespread media attention. The prosecution painted a picture of a calculated and deliberate scheme, with Lodge at the center orchestrating the theft of human remains for years. They argued that this was not the act of one rogue employee, but part of a larger organized network that exploited the vulnerable and desecrated the sanctity of the deceased.
Huh.
The def- yeah, I mean it's true. The defense, on the other hand, tried to downplay the scale of the operation, arguing that Lodge's actions were isolated and that he did not, in fact, have full control over the buyers involved in the network.
I would have a hard time defending this guy. Like, I couldn't be a defense lawyer. I don't think I would be like, this is ridiculous. I
Yeah,
would
that's
not be.
totally true. I mean, I think about that often when I'm watching documentaries or listening to true crime podcasts, all that. I'm
Mhm.
like, when they talk about the defense attorneys, but I mean, one, someone's got to do it. Um,
Yeah.
but I wonder if they like go home at night and think, oh my God, like it must be difficult.
Yeah, and I understand obviously that everyone has the right to a fair trial, and that's fantastic. I am not me, couldn't be me. I am not cut out for that. I would be like Diddy's lawyer that was like, nope, can't do it. See ya.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, he like the quote was like, I absolutely categorically cannot continue with this.
Brilliant. So as the trial continues, and the full legal consequences unfold, many are left asking the questions that we're all going to ask. How could something like this happen? How did the person entrusted with the remains of the deceased go so far as to create a trafficking network around body parts? And perhaps most importantly, what can be done in the future to stop this from happening? Because honestly, I mean, it's probably hard to trace,
Mm,
in crematoriums. And you know what? This is probably just a case that was caught and found out. I bet it's happening
yeah,
still loads of places, right?
for sure. For sure it is.
Yeah. I mean, I get it if it's like a small place. Like, I mean, even in small towns, you never know, right?
Small towns are twisted.
Yeah. So the case also raises critical questions about the black market for human remains. While some individuals are drawn to such items for medical or scientific purposes, there are others who see them as strange curiosities or collectibles, like we talked about before. The
Mhm.
intersection of greed, fascination with death, and a lack of regulation has created a real shadowy kind of market that continues to operate in the shadows, driven by a disturbing demand for human remains. And listen, I'm not going to lie, like I did go on Google and type in where can I buy human body parts. I was quickly told by the internet, don't do that.
You're going to be on some kind of watch list for
But
your
how does
Google
people,
history.
I know, right? But I mean, we probably already are with the amount of grim stuff that we watch
Oh,
on YouTube.
I Google so much weird shit.
I wonder, like, I wonder how you get on the dark web. Like, can you
It's
use like
like
Firefox
additional,
or
no,
like
it's like other
Safari?
software. You
Oh,
need something else. No, it's like a whole thing. You can't just like Google dark web and get into it. You need to like have
oh.
the software.
I heard that it's also not illegal to access the dark web. It's only illegal to purchase stuff. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. The dark web itself is just another like section of the internet, but it's what you use it for.
I wonder if there's just like a search bar at the top and you can just type in like toe whiskey.
I know. I wonder.
Or
Somebody,
like,
I wonder if anyone on Reddit has posted like what the dark web looks like. I bet
ooh,
you, I bet you Reddit has.
oh my God, episode on the dark web.
Yes, dark web. I think my head would look great in a jar.
I think your head would look really great in a jar, to be honest. I
Yeah.
would I would buy a replica of your head in a jar. I wouldn't
Merch. What about
buy the
little
actual.
necklaces of our heads in jars?
Oh my God, merch idea.
Trademark. Nobody take that.
Noted that.
Or
Cut that
if you're
out.
going to make it for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah. Anyway, in the aftermath of the case, institutions that handle donated bodies are now under intense scrutiny. So there's lots going on, lots of talk on Capitol Hill, lots of conversations going on about how to regulate this now and how to kind of fix these problems. There are calls for better oversight, stronger ethical standards, and improved security measures to ensure that such exploitation of human remains never happens again. So,
Mm.
conclusion essentially is the legal process moves forward, and the story of Cedric serves as a grim reminder that the potential for abuse in institutions and trust, and the need for vigilant oversight for now is really important. And like to the victims of the case, like terrible, horrible. Um, it's really, really grim story. Um,
Yeah.
but it's happening, Erica. People are doing it. Oh,
People are doing it. I just like you to know that I searched up dark web on Reddit to see what I would get, and some of the comments, the deep web is highly overrated. Apart from buying drugs, aren't there? And the next comment is even then like, hello, what happened to supporting local businesses? I, support your local drug dealer.
that's so funny. Oh, the dark web. Don't get too deep into it though, Erica. I don't want you getting arrested by like the Australian Ministry of Dark Web
No,
Security.
it's Reddit. Reddit's fine. Reddit's safe, a
Oh, you're
safe
already
place.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Don't click any links
Yeah.
though.
No, 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 no. I'm
No links.
just having a check for people that actually are on the dark web and seeing. Oh yeah, see, this is someone that actually like how do you actually surf the dark web? Anyway, I'll save this for another episode. I'll do a deep dive.
A total dark web episode.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Well, Erica, I hope you enjoyed. That was the story of Cedric Lodge, and it's still ongoing. And I don't know where he is. I think he's probably in jail. Hang on, I have it written down
Yeah.
here.
I really
Him and
hope
his
he's in
wife.
jail.
Let's see.
Although he's not really a criminal like you need to look out for. He's not like killing people for their parts. He's just, maximizing what he can find.
The maximum penalty under federal law for this offence is 15 years of imprisonment, a term of supervised release following imprisonment, and a fine. A sentence following a finding of guilt is imposed by the judge after consideration. Um, yeah, I don't know when. I'll have
Hmm.
to find out, but we'll see what happens with Cedric Lodge stealing bodies
Oh,
and selling
Cedric.
them. I really hope you all enjoyed learning about that. Feel free to do
Yeah.
your own deep dives on the internet and
Just watch out for the deep web.
yeah.
Don't get on any
And
watch lists.
don't do that. And
No,
definitely
but
don't
make
steal anybody
sure
parts.
definitely don't steal anybody parts, but make sure you do email us, macabreandcompany@gmail.com, with any of your findings or how to access the dark web. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Macabre and Company. You can join us on Patreon at Macabre and Company as well. And definitely, as always,
Stay spooky.
stay spooky, friends.